Einen wunderschönen herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer weiteren Folge von Lamplight City. Wir haben in der letzten Folge uns wieder ein bisschen Asche gegönnt, ne? Zumindest nicht aufs Haupt, aber in so einen Bottichbehälter hier haben wir in so einen Zinnkrug haben wir das reingepackt und das müssten wir theoretisch einem Gerichtsmediziner geben. Ich muss mal kurz gucken. Ich glaube, den erwischen wir hier über das Polizeirevier. Ich bin mir nicht sicher, aber ich denke mal schon.
Dear Lord, what is that smell? Did you step in something out there, Fordham?
Private investigation is a dirty job, Upton. You know that. Got a moment, Upton?
Yes, but let's make this quick.
Okay, ich habe hier, da.
Would it be possible for me to access the mortuary?
The mortuary? What for?
I'd like to consult with Dr. Edwards.
All right, but be careful. Make sure you don't let Snelling see you back there.
Okay.
That's it for now.
Better get back to it then.
Wir speichern vorher sicherheitshalber ab, dass wir nicht erwischt werden, ne? Also sicher ist sicher. So.
Dr. Edwards' lab was always a fascinating place to learn about death. A bit less so now that I'm quite the expert.
Oh, did I miss cleaning up some bit of that last corpse? Oh, Fordham, what brings you down here?
Hello, Edwards. I was wondering if I could pick your brain.
Yes, of course. There's one in a jar over there, and I may have another one around here somewhere.
That coroner humor never gets old, does it?
Anyway, let me know what you want to discuss. This fellow's not going anywhere.
Wir gucken uns erstmal hier um.
You've seen one dissected torso, you've seen them all. It sure is a lot of rubbish crammed inside our upper bodies, isn't there?
Das stimmt. Das stimmt.
I wonder if Edwards ever got around to fixing this typewriter. The letter E being out of alignment always made his reports a nightmare to read.
Oh.
That collection of stains, fluids, and other repugnant materials almost makes me homesick for the chum.
Oh.
Assorted lab equipment for setting things on fire or causing explosions. You know, the perfect way to pass the time. The brain is truly a fascinating organ. If only more people used it.
Das stimmt definitiv, wenn es doch nur mehr nutzen würden.
A fine example of well-developed deltoids, latissimus dorsi, and gluteus maximi.
Ja, was auch immer.
I remember when Edwards used to keep his collection of preserved reproductive organs on this shelf. He must be getting soft in his old age. Or perhaps that's exactly what happened to his collection. I remember when Edwards used to keep his collection. Or perhaps...
Okay, ist das Gleiche.
I'm pretty sure I saw Edwards weighing his lunch on this once. Looks rather fresh. There's a plaque at the base of the jar that says H. Putnam.
H. Putnam.
Well, at least he died with a smile on his face. Sort of.
Okay, ja.
I feel sorry for the poor slob who has to clean that out. Seems to be empty for now. That's most definitely a good thing.
Na, ich glaube ja nicht.
It's important to keep your hands clean when dealing with dead bodies. After all, you never know where they've been. Until after the post-mortem exam, anyway. This provides the room with just the right amount of heat. Unlike the incinerators in the crematorium. Talk about overkill. I'd say being hooked up to that machine was the worst experience of my life. Except I was already dead at the time. Imagine a giant mosquito sucking out all your blood and then replacing it with formaldehyde. Not very pleasant.
Warum?
Edwards keeps assorted bottles and specimens in there. Nothing too remarkable that I can see. Nice pair of legs.
Okay, ich gucke hier noch. Autopsietisch.
Edwards must have some very good friends in the department who have gotten this custom-made table. It does suit the room, though.
Ich glaube ja nicht, dass man sich sowas in den Raum reinstellen möchte.
Not a stitch of clothing on him. As if having your torso ripped open and poked around inside weren't bad enough. There truly is no dignity in death.
Na denn, Feuer frei.
Pardon me, Edwards.
Yes?
Ah, der sieht ja cool aus. Das ist ein cooler Charakter.
I've got these human ashes from a crime scene.
Straight to the point. I knew I liked you for a reason, Fordham. Who do they belong to?
Desiree Lathan. She was a Gascon Grand Dame.
Oh, of course. I heard about that case. She was found burned in her home, wasn't she?
That's right.
I meant to go over there later today.
Well, then I suppose I've saved you the journey. Would you have a look at these?
Does this mean you're officially on the case?
Not as such. In fact, I'd appreciate it if you didn't mention I'd been here.
Ah, clandestine operation. Sneaking around under Snelling's nose.
Ja.
I don't have much of a choice. I'm pretty much persona non grata around here these days.
Well, you're always welcome in my mortuary. Preferably while still breathing, of course. Anyway, I'll just take those ashes off your hands. I'm sure your social life will soon improve.
Yes, I was making quite the impression.
This is an interesting choice of container.
It was either that or carry them around in my bare hands.
Well, I'm a bit busy right now, but I should have something for you within the next couple of hours.
Das ist eine
But you
Ansage.
do realize the information won't be exclusive to you. I'll have to pass it on to the detectives on the case.
Naturally, that just gives me more of an incentive to work quickly.
Okay.
I found this piece of burned cloth at the crime scene. Could you take a look at it for me?
This is from the Lathan case?
It is, yes.
What do you need me to look at exactly?
It appears to have some oily residue on it.
Interesting. I'm afraid I have my hands full right now, but you can feel free to use my workbench if you'd like.
To do what exactly?
Surely they taught you something about basic chemical analysis when you worked here.
Da war ich noch nicht da.
Well, I always let Bill handle the more technical aspects of our cases.
A real pity I'm not around to help you anymore, isn't it?
Ja.
But I'll have a look and see if something comes back to me. Keeping busy down here, Edwards?
Oh, you know me. I've always got my hands in someone.
Edwards always did have a way with words.
This postmortem was just a formality, really. The victim died of a gunshot wound to the head. Last week, though, we had a real kicker. An old man was brought in, and though he appeared quite dead, I was told that he'd been in a trance for over half a year. Apparently, he was hypnotized right at the point of death, and somehow managed to remain alive, in a fashion. In any case, when I began performing the exam, his entire body decayed into a putrefied mess within minutes. It was fascinating.
What?
Should you really be giving me these details, Edwards?
Oh, hell, I don't mind telling you, Miles. It's not like you're going to go tell Snelling. Besides, you're the only one who's come to see me all week. Dead people make lousy conversationalists.
Hey, I take offense to that statement.
So, Snelling got promoted to chief, did he?
Yes, not too long after you left. Personally, I think he took advantage of your situation to change things around here.
Was it really that much of a shock? Bill and I weren't exactly the most well-liked detectives on the force.
But you were respected. You two solved over 350 cases in 15 years. You were an institution.
Damn right we were. It's so easy for people to resent their more successful peers.
Ah, Edwards. Nice to know someone missed us.
Oh, ist ja schön.
You didn't examine Bill after he died, did you?
Ha! He wishes.
No, there was nothing inconclusive about his death. He died from impact after falling from the roof of a building. Why, was there something else I should have looked into?
No, I was just curious.
As fond as I am of Edwards, it would have been a bit much for him to go poking around my insides.
Thanks. That's all I needed to know for the moment.
Anytime, Fordham.
Okay, der Tisch ist frei hier drüben. Wie immer. Wir wollen ja nichts kaputt machen. Und ran da. Mit ein bisschen Kenntnis.
Oh, it's been ages since we got to do any type of chemical analysis. This will be grand.
Dr. Edwards, could you remind me what it is I'm meant to be doing?
Yes, of course. Go ahead and get as much of that oily residue from the cloth into the petri dish. Good. Now add some of the chemical reagent in the red bottle to the dish.
Okay, das kriege ich hin, oder? Reagenzglas gibt's nicht. Okay. Ui.
Aha! The oil turned orange.
Yes! The reagent has caused a chemical reaction and changed the oil's color. Isn't science fun?
Wow.
Quite. But how does this help me?
I have some samples of the most common types of flammable oils on the shelf. Go ahead and add them to the test tubes. Good. Now simply check each one with the reagent to see if you can find a match.
And if I don't find one?
Then I suggest going out and looking for more oil samples.
Ach so.
Well, oil be damned. Looks like that's not a match.
Ach, schade.
Oh, you love it.
Okay, ich nehme mal das Schwarze. Ui.
Too bad. I would have bet on it being coal oil.
Ich glaube, wir müssen eine andere Vergleichsprobe suchen. Das ist keine von denen hier.
Ja. So much for kerosene being the culprit.
Dann haben wir nichts. Dann haben wir nichts. Was ist das
Looks
denn
like
hier?
ammonium chloride. Won't be of much use to us in this experiment.
Okay, wir brauchen eine Vergleichsprobe. Fakt ist Fakt. Verbranntes Tuch haben wir noch. Das ist das, was wir gerade bearbeiten. Wir haben keine Verdächtigen. Was sollen wir? Wir sollen noch den Supper Club. Da waren wir doch schon, ne? Büro von Brentwell Magazin mit Anwalt Jonas Usher. Da können wir nicht reden. Mit der Bank. Das ist mir zu offensichtlich, der Peter Andrews. Glaube ich nicht. Wir gehen erstmal raus. Tschüss. Mal gucken, was sie noch hat hier.
Got a moment, Upton?
Yes, but let's make this quick.
Okay.
That's it for now.
Better get back to it then.
Und raus hier. So, da waren wir schon. Da müssen wir noch hin. Hier kommen wir nicht weiter. Hier waren wir auch noch nicht. Wir gehen erstmal. Aber wir gucken erstmal hier. Wir sollen ja das untersuchen. Ich glaube nicht, dass hier noch irgendwas ist. Oder aber ich hätte hier noch weiterlaufen müssen, was ich nicht getan habe. Es geht aber nicht weiter hier hinten. Okay.
I may have more questions for you later.
I can scarcely contain my excitement.
Wow, die fährt voll auf uns ab. Okay, hier ist nichts weiter. Was nehmen wir denn jetzt am besten? Ah, komm.
Ah, hello there. Are you here to drop off an article?
No,
Nein.
actually, I'm a private investigator. The name's Miles Fordham.
How exciting. You must have so many interesting stories.
You could say that, yes.
Please, come in, come in. I'm Alan Brentwell, owner and publisher of Brentwell Magazine.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Wie immer, gucken wir erstmal.
Useful for getting to those hard-to-reach places. In my case, that's everywhere.
Ja.
Confessions of a Steam Addict by Ezra Bartley. I think I'm better off not knowing. For Whom the Bell Almost Tolled by Suki Snobs. Fascinating stuff. For the publisher of a sensationalist rag, Brentwell is awfully well read. Assuming he actually has read all those books, of course.
Ja, ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube nicht. Was haben wir hier hinten? Eine Schachtel, eine alte.
Empty. Too bad.
Ah.
I can only begin to imagine how many lurid and salacious articles are kept in those cabinets. I can only begin to...
Okay, okay, okay.
I have some questions for you, Mr. Brentwell.
Wonderful. It's so seldom I get to answer questions.
Oh Gott. Woran erinnert er? Der erinnert mich an irgendjemanden.
What can you tell me about Desiree Lathan?
Desiree Lathan. Oh, why, she came to me a few weeks ago in response to an ad I took out requesting articles. She told me she had an idea readers would love. We agreed on 10 crowns per paragraph, and she was on her way. Come to think of it, I haven't heard from her in a few days.
Were you aware that Miss Lathan is dead?
What? No, I had no idea. What happened?
I'm not exactly sure. She seems to have burned to death under mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious circumstances?
Most of her body was burnt to ash. but there's very little fire damage around her. It's as though she herself just caught fire.
Oh, that sounds positively ghastly. Oh dear.
Is something wrong?
I just remembered. The article she was writing. Dear God. I hope she didn't go too far with her research.
Nachtigall, ich hör dir trapsen.
Tell me about Brentwell magazine.
We're a monthly publication focusing on both fiction and non-fiction pieces.
Ah, yes, you're publishing that serial, aren't you? The Dissembling Mechanism?
You're a subscriber! Tell me, what did you think of the conclusion? Quite astonishing, wasn't it?
I haven't had a chance to read it yet, I'm afraid.
Ah, then I won't say any more about it.
Sehr
My
gut.
dream was to have a magazine that was well-respected and educational. But sadly, it seems today's audiences are much more interested in reading about sightings of giant bat creatures or mysterious buried treasures. Such a pity.
I hear you have a bit of a reputation for making your reporters do questionable things for their articles.
You are mistaken, Mr. Fordham. I don't force my writers to do anything. They seem to have this notion that the more extreme their research, the more authentic the articles will be.
What sort of extremes are we talking about here?
We had one writer who attempted to heighten the sensation of fear she wanted to express in her story. Damn near decapitated herself by sticking her head through an opening at the clock tower at St. Denis Cathedral. Ugh. Thankfully, she made it out alive. It would have been quite the predicament if she hadn't. Especially considering that was our most popular article last year. Oh, people have such odd taste.
Ich weiß nicht. Mein Bauchgefühl sagt gerade, da ist irgendwas im Busch mit ihm. Der ist zu erpicht darauf, dass die Geschichten, über die geschrieben wird, real werden. Wahrscheinlich, damit sie sich besser verkaufen.
What made you decide to start this business?
I always wanted to be a journalist. I never had much luck with any of the local papers, though. So I decided to start my own. I admit it's not exactly what I wanted, but I like to think Brentwell magazine has found its own unique voice.
Voice? More like a gurgling scream.
What exactly was Desiree's article about?
I'm not entirely sure. She merely came to me with the proposal.
She didn't tell you what that idea was?
She did, but I wasn't sure what to make of it.
Please, Mr. Brentwell, stop stalling and tell me what she was writing about.
It was about spontaneous human combustion.
Na toll.
What do you know about spontaneous human combustion?
That's the thing, I don't know very much at all. It sounded interesting enough, that's why I accepted Miss Lathan's proposal to write the article about it.
But what do you know about it?
Only that it's a mysterious phenomenon in which a person catches fire spontaneously and burns to death. It sounds exactly as you described Miss Lathan's condition.
Do you know what Miss Lathan's research on the subject involved?
Only the one contact I gave her, a Miss Angela Maxwell at the Spectre Society in Gascon.
The Spectre Society, huh? Shouldn't be surprised to hear that name again.
Are you a member?
Actually, I am.
Then I suggest you do some research there. There's bound to be something relevant in that curious library of theirs.
Thank you. Perhaps I will. Thanks for your time, Mr. Brentwell.
The pleasure is all mine.
Trotzdem ist der irgendwie, er hätte zumindest einen Nutzen von der ganzen Sache, ne? Das dürfen wir nicht vergessen. Gut, ich würde sagen, wir runden das Ganze jetzt hier an der Stelle ab. Ist das überhaupt schon da? Nee. Haben wir gar nicht, ne? Komischerweise. Gut, wir runden das jetzt an der Stelle ab und wir sehen uns in der nächsten Folge. Mal gucken, wo wir hingehen. Obwohl, doch, da ist ja der Club. Habe ich gar nicht für voll genommen. Wir sehen uns in der nächsten Folge wieder. Vielen Dank fürs Zusehen und bis dahin, euer Firefox.